चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। भूतैर्महद्भिर्यमा पुरो विभु निर्मायशेते यदमुषु पूरुषा। भूते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मक सोलङ्कृशेष्ठ भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथा अमृतं सदतपीबतं भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्न प्रसन्नं, सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्न प्रसन्नं। Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Matajis. Welcome to the morning Srīmad Bhāgavatam class. Sorry, I've joined a bit late. I was having a few issues with my internet connectivity. Nonetheless, by Krishna's mercy, we are here now. So we were continuing with the first canto, 8th chapter, titled Queen Kunti's Prayers and Parīkṣit Saved, text number 4. So very important verse, especially very important purport that Srila Prabhupada gives. And I hope devotees yesterday or early this morning had a chance to listen to the lecture that I had sent in the link by Her Grace Devaki Mataji, who very nicely talks about the culture or the Krishna system of sheltering relationships. And she has lived it, so she can speak. Let's continue with recitation of this verse. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Would anyone like to sing this verse?
Is it Prabhuji 4 or
Yes.
5?
Number 4, verse number 4.
Yes. Santya Vaivasa Santyam Asamunirve Hata Bandhan Shocharpitan Bhute Shukalyasa Katim Darshanya Pratikriyam.
Thank you, Mataji. The translation, citing the stringent laws of Almighty and their reactions upon the living beings, Lord Krishna and the Munis began to pacify those who were shocked and affected. So, San Tvayam, yesterday we looked a bit, Asa, pacified. So, we all need to be pacified. Why? Because the stringent laws of Almighty and their reactions upon living entities, upon us, we are affected by. We don't know the laws of nature, and therefore inadvertently our lifestyle is in complete opposite to what actually we should be doing. And therefore the laws of material nature act on us, and their reactions put us in difficulty and ultimately in grief. And we need sheltering under guidance of advanced persons and the Supreme Lord, who can pacify us and who can show us the way. And this is what the whole paper is for. Just imagine a mass war has taken place in which mass number of people, millions and millions of people have been killed, so many widows, so many orphans. Basically, populations have been annihilated. And the Pandavas are surviving. And later on, we see how Yudhishthira Maharaj, goes into depression because he thinks that all this has happened because of him. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Go on, Prabhu.
The stringent laws of nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be altered by any living entity. The living entities are eternally under the subjugation of the Almighty Lord. The Lord makes all the laws and orders, and these laws and orders are generally called dharma or religion. No one can create any religious formula. Bona fide religions is to abide by the orders of the Lord. The Lord's orders are clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita. Everyone should follow him only for his orders, and that will make all happy, both materially and spiritually. As long as we are in the material world, our duty is to follow the orders of the Lord, and if by the grace of the Lord we are liberated from the clutches of the material world, then in our liberated stage also we can render transcendental loving service unto the Lord. In our material stage, we can see neither ourselves nor the Lord for want of spiritual vision. But when we are liberated from the material affection and are situated in our original spiritual form, we can see both ourselves and the Lord face to face. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life. Therefore, human life is specifically meant for qualifying ourselves for this spiritual liberty. Unfortunately, under the influence of the illusory material energy, we accept this spot life of only a few years as a permanent existence, and thus become illusioned by possessing so-called country, home, land, children, wife, community, wealth, etc., which are false representations created by Maya, illusion. And under the dictation of Maya, we fight with one another to protect these false possessions. By cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all this material paraphernalia. Then at once we become free from the material attachment. This clearance of the misgivings of the material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotees, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depths of the bewildered heart and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. This is a summary of the pacifying measures for those affected by the reaction of stringent material laws, exhibited in the forms of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. The victims of war, namely the family members of the Kurus, were lamenting the problems of death, and the Lord pacified them on the basis of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So in the paper, one of the punchlines at the end, there is this clearance of the misgivings of material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotees, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depths of the bewildered heart and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. And this is what Bhagavatam is all about. Simply by oral reception of Bhagavatam, Shoka Moha Bhayapaha, lamentation, bewilderment, and fear is completely eradicated. This is the culture that we want to establish. Now, we had read the verse and purport yesterday. Let's go on to text number 5. Sadha yitva jata shatro swam rajyam kitavairhitam ghat yitva sato rajna kachasparsha shatayushaha. Word to word. Sadha yitva, having executed, ajata shatraho, one who has no enemy. So one of Yudhishthira Maharaj's name is Ajata Shatrava, meaning one whose enemy is not born. Basically, Yudhishthira Maharaj's mind was very clear. He did not regard anyone as his enemy, but others, especially Duryodhana, regarded him as enemy and was inimical towards Yudhishthira Maharaj. It is said Ajata Shatrava is such a person that even when the enemy comes to him, he, because his heart is fully innocent, he doesn't have a tinge of envy against anyone, then he treats him in such a way that for a moment, the person who is that this person is my enemy. So this is the quality, we should imbibe, because this quality is very dear to Krishna. Ajata Shatrava. Swam Rajyam, own kingdom. Kitavahi, by the clever, Duryodhana and party, Hirtam, unsaved. Although Yudhishthira Maharaj was Ajata Shatrava, had no enemy, but Duryodhana and other party tried to unsave his kingdom. Ghata itva, having killed Asataha, the unscrupulous, Rajnaha, of the queens, Kacha, bunch of hair, Sparsha, roughly handled, Shata, decreased, Ayusaha, by the duration of life. Translation: the clever Duryodhana and his party cunningly unsaved the kingdom of Yudhishthira, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous king who joined with Duryodhana were killed by him. Others also died, their duration of life having decreased for their rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. So, few points to mention here, that when woman is treated with contempt, then the natural duration of life reduces. Therefore, this culture of respecting woman, showing due respect to woman, honoring woman is very important. And Prabhupada's purport is glorious, because he establishes here, the culture of protection that we all should be following. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Can I try, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Purport. In the glorious days or before the advent of the age of Kali, the Brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children, and the old men were properly given protection. Number 1, the protection of the Brahmanas maintains the institution of Vama and ashram, the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life.
Thank
Number
you, Mataji.
2,
We'll just stop there and discuss. So the first protection is mentioned of the Brahmanas. So would anyone like to give insights or comment? You can quote from the class you have heard from Her Grace Devaki Mataji as well, as to why the protection of Brahmanas are very important. Bhavamai Mataji, you made a very important point on Sunday class regarding the importance of Brahmanas, how Srila Prabhupada wants to establish the culture of Brahmanas back. Would you like to, make those points here as well?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji, first of all, the point that came to my mind this morning was, when we offer bhoga and we say the pranam mantra for Lord Krishna, we say Namo Brahmane Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya, Cha Jagat Hitaya, Krishna Govindaya, Namo Nama. So Go and Brahman Hitaya, their protection is very dear to Krishna, so that we say every day. And I heard a class about the fall and rise of Brahmanas. In that class, it was mentioned that Britishers and Mughals, all the invaders in Vedic culture, they have systematically tried to destroy the culture of Brahminical, the studies of scriptures, and all the gurukuls were destroyed. And so Britishers have tried to minimize the importance of scriptures, and by saying, this is mythology and all. So slowly the Brahmins and the study of scriptures, that culture has reduced. And when we see in this purport, the Brahmanas are not protected. So if they are not protected, so if Brahmanas are meant to be focusing mainly on the supreme knowledge and then relay that knowledge. But if they are not protected by the other class, then they have no other means of their survival. Then they have to also join the race of material, that earning and all. So then they can't focus solely on the knowledge aspect. So then the degradation of Brahmanas happen, and that is the reason of the fall of Brahmanas and fall of Vedic culture. So the Prabhupada has attacked the very point these invaders have attacked our Vedic culture on. And then so Prabhupada has put so much emphasis on study of scriptures, and he has used the temples as schools, as universities. And then this is the rise of Brahmanas. So Prabhupada has prepared this army of Brahmanas that can preserve the Vedic culture and spread it and inspire the whole world. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So, Prabhupada has, created this culture of education within our centers and our temples, that our main focus is distribution of knowledge of the Vedic scriptures, of Srīmad Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And anyone who reads these scriptures, they will come to the platform of being a Brahmana class. Brahmana class means one who knows the value of life. And very nicely, Devaki Mataji related this point, that in this world, there are two extremes. Basically, one extreme, the other, the culture or spirituality is practically unknown to us. She quotes Bhagavad Gita 2.69. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato manehe. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control or introspective sage, and the time of awakening is for all beings is night for introspective stage, introspective stage. So basically, the true extremes, sense gratification, the pinnacle of age, which is simply sex life, and then the spiritual life, which is based on the foundation of sense control and forming a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. And the two situations are incompatible. If one is allured by the aspect of sense gratification, and when the so-called in the modern world Kali Yuga, even Brahmanas become allured, they lose their independence. Brahmana is supposed to be self-controlled, and he is supposed to lead by example. And it is the society's responsibility to maintain such a Brahmana, not lavishly. Brahmana doesn't need a lavish lifestyle. He simply needs to be maintained, and he simply needs his independence. And if Brahmana's independence is not compromised, then Brahmana can speak the truth, he can speak the bitter truth, he can guide the leaders of the society, and he can guide the society, he can be a teacher. Therefore, the protection of Brahmana is very important. Now, Brahmana does not mean anyone who is born in a Sharma family or a Maharaj family or so forth. It is not a relative of a Brahmana or Brahma Bandhu. It is simply one who is living the life, the values of the life that is centered around the Brahmana. So this protection is important. The second protection, Mataji, please go ahead reading the second part of the verse.
I'll read point 2, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
The protection of cows maintains the most miraculous form of food, i.e. milk for maintaining the finer tissues of the brain for understanding higher aims of life.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So in modern day life is actually life of sense gratification means life of exploitation. So for the sense of gratification, what a person will not do to exploit? The cows are exploited simply. They're fed on grass and injected antibiotics so that the milk can be produced. And as soon as the cow stops giving milk, they are forcefully impregnated so that they can again produce milk. And as soon as they stop producing milk and they cannot be impregnated anymore, then they are simply killed. This is the Western civilization, that you suck the milk out, the milk stops, you suck the blood out, and you kill that living entity, worshipable. Cows are worshipable. Why? Because she feeds us. So she's a mother, Go Mata, we refer to. So there are 7 mothers in Vedic literature. Guru Mata, Raj Mata, Go Mata, Dhatari Mata, and one's Janani Mata, one's own birth mother, and I'm forgetting the 7th one. If anyone remembers,
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth, Bhumata. So these 7 mothers are there, and they are to be showed respect, which leads us to the 3rd point. Yes, Paul Prabhu, please go on reading.
The protection of women maintains the chastity of society, by which we can get a good generation for peace, tranquility, and progress of life.
Thank you, Prabhuji. If the aim of life is overtaken by sense gratification, then every man will, and woman for that matter as well, will, lose their sanity, because sense gratification cannot give any satisfaction. We think by enjoying we can be satisfied. That philosophy is totally discarded by Krishna. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd canto, one of the verses says that it is like pouring ghee into the fire, thinking that we will be able to satisfy our senses by indulging in sense gratification. And in a society which is based on sense gratification, that means exploitation of women. Woman figure is used to sell so many products, and in subtle form and in gross form also that exploitation is there. But the Vedic culture, as we mentioned in previous verse, is that the woman is addressed as Mata, as mother. Mataji, we address in ISKCON. Prabhupada said this culture. He was addressing, or he set this standard of addressing females as Mata. Chanakya Pandit says, Matravat Paradhareshu. paradravyesu lotsavat atmavat sarvabhutesu yah pashyati sapanditaha. That matravad paradhareshu, others' wife, except for one's own, other ladies are women, are mother. Matravad means mother. Paradravyesu lotsavat, others' wealth we treat as stones and pebbles of no value. It's others, it's not ours. And atmavat sarvabhutesu, and all other living entities, we treat them like we would like to be treated ourselves, like we would like others to treat us. One who actually lives on this principle is actually a learned person. Sapashyati sapanditaha. And when respect of woman in this way is maintained, then the protection of woman is there. Devaki Mata calls it sheltering relationships. The whole system of Varnashrama is sheltering of relationships, and where women are fully satisfied and they feel protected. And when the woman is protected, of course, the progeny will be of good samskaras, and they will be able to lead the way. Would anyone like to comment at this point anything they had from Devaki Mataji's class?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Please go ahead.
Now, I'm looking at the third point where Prabhupada cleverly uses the word chastity of society. So normally chastity refers to women, but here he uses the word the protection of women maintains the chastity of society. And why did he use the word chastity of society is, I think, because the word society here refers to all the 6 important protections that should be given in the world, mainly the brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children, old men. So I think Prabhupada has used the word society very carefully and very intelligently here.
Very nice point, Prabhuji. And Devaki Mataji also in a class mentions that among all this, woman is the pivotal point. If protection of women is there, then the protection of brahmanas, protection of cows, protection of children, and protection of elderly and old men will naturally follow. So women actually play the most important part in the society. And chastity of society, that means that the proper sheltering system of Varnashrama will be maintained. I realize we have come to time. So let's continue this discussion tomorrow as well. And I know personally I've had that class by Devaki Mataji 3 times. I'll hear it once again today. And I request everyone to please hear it. We may not be able to cover all points in that class, but one point really struck me. She said that Prabhupada said that it will take 10 generations to get this system correct. 10 generations. Let's meditate on it, that how we can make it quicker than that, and how it may be possible to make it quicker than that. I'll send the link to the class again in WhatsApp group. Hare Krishna, Granth Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Have a wonderful day.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you,
Krishna Prabhu. Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.